Hello, and welcome to my playground. This is the Mad Chemist Church, or Church of Gurch, depending on where you know me from, and welcome to Madman Review. Today we're going to be taking a look at another roguelite called Ember Knights. Now, Ember Knights is a multiplayer game, kind of like your Shovel Knight, if you've ever heard of that. If not, look it up. Really fun game. Came out years ago. But you can play up to 4 people local co-op or online. So this would be if I had 4 other people here to play with me, or I could go to multiplayer and I could host or join someone's game. Now, this is just me, player 1, ready up. Now this is another game where you can do mouse and keyboard or controller. You spawned at a fire tree. The Ember tree. The Ember tree is basically where you go to do your upgrades. As you can see, I don't really have everything unlocked, but this is where most of the upgrades come from. Then you can upgrade your upgrade and then select which one from each category you want to basically make things better. This game's a lot of fun solo, but it'd be way better with people, like as an actual group of 4. But this is kind of your main hub where you would start. These little helpers, they keep the place clean. You can kill them and they become rocks. And then they pop back up. And then I believe that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, that's my ability. What's the... No. There's an ability where you can blow them up like a balloon. But eventually you can find a dog. You can save a dog and pet him. And you can save a cat and pet the cat. And of course, if you can see, as it says, Ember Knights, I am made of fire. I have beaten the game. The only thing I haven't done, and which is why I kind of haven't gone through and tried to collect everything, is I don't have the DLC because the DLC costs money, and I'm not too keen on buying DLCs and stuff until they go on sale, especially since I already paid pretty much full price for this game. And then they came out with a DLC after I kind of had stopped playing because I didn't have a lot of time. Then I kind of started to have time again, so I picked it up. You see, when you defeat a boss, you get a trophy. When you perfect a boss, basically no damage, the trophy, you get like a little cool thing. Like this was like a blade of the first boss, and it was just kind of like laying there, and now it's on a table. The crown of the second boss, it was just kind of laying there. Now it's on a pedestal. I've been working on it, but I didn't really. I can almost get these 2 guys perfect, but I wasn't able to. And then the final boss, and then of course the DLC bosses. Obviously, as I said, I don't have the DLC, so obviously you gotta fight the DLC bosses to get their trophies. Well, let's go back. Here's your compendium. Shows you all your different skills you've unlocked. I'm missing 1. All these different relics you can get in the game, enemies, stages, time, total completions, trophies, and I'm missing a lot of stuff because, again, they've implemented all the DLC stuff. I just can't unlock the DLC stuff because I don't have the DLC. Oh, and I beat the bad guy. I got from the stewards are these guys. They drew me a picture. I beat the bad guy. The other thing you start with this guy, Esper. He's basically how you unlock different abilities. You can see next relic or appears after defeating X amount of enemies. I'm 24 to 53 again. Most of these are going to be the DLC that I don't have. This guy gives me upgrades. It allows me to upgrade my abilities and give me abilities that I can then find out in the wild. Here's your different weapons. So these are all the base weapons: sword, a bow, a staff, which is, I have the staff because it's kind of like a homing. All I gotta do is point in an area, and if there's an enemy within like this range, it just attacks them. The Void Mantle, which is the weapon from defeating the final boss. Scythe, throwy blade, and a hammer. And of course, you rescue this guy, which then allows you to upgrade your weapons. So if I go up here, I can modify, and then I can upgrade, choose, and then modify each different weapon to how I see fit. And then once you get all of these modified and upgraded, you get a free 4th ability. It's always active. And it's kind of the same thing with the skills. Once you've unlocked all 3 of these, you get this one. So when you go through and you find the skill upgraders in the game itself, once you get 1, 2, so any of these 3, you just get 1 and 2 of them, because you can only get 2 upgrades per skill. So say I find this one, I get that one, and I find this one and I get that one, I'll immediately get that for free. I can also kick the ball around in the dogge. I can play with the dogge, which I enjoy. Another thing you can do is, since this game is kind of like a live service game, and they do upgrade it. See, he brings the ball, plays fetch. They do have skins you can buy, but there's also skins you can find and unlock. So, like, there's this one, the Pyraxis Ember. I believe this is what I got from killing the boss. I believe that's the base staff, but this is the staff you get once you completely max it out. And then just the different armors you can get, and as you select them, you can see it changes the way the armor looks. And then the way the armor looks depends on what weapon you pick. So I've unlocked some of these, I've found some of these. So if I equip the Guardian Bow, I now have like a hoodie jacket, a sword. I now have armor. That. I now am like a floaty boy. Spoiks. I now have a flowing cape and I'm monk-like. Then I'm Thor. Fire Thor. I prefer this guy. Makes me look all magey. This guy is basically your daily dungeon, boss rush, kind of if you kind of want that challenge. He also has a token shop which unlocks skins for your weapons and skins for your guy. Ember cat ears that can be equipped on your knight. You also get these souls, which you can see at the top right here. You can then turn those into tokens. So if you're just playing, and you've bought everything, you can then convert these to tokens, and then buy this stuff. And then this guy, what you unlock once you progress enough, where you can purchase items to take along with you. I'm not going to, since this is just going to be a free run where I'm just going to go in to show you. The dog also attacks the keepers. And then whatever flame you pick for your character changes the flame of the Ember dog and the Ember cat. So since I chose this purple black, the Ember dog and the cat are Ember black, and they'll also interact. The cat will interact with the keepers as well. I forget what button it is. I don't, but there's a button that allows you to like blow one of these groundskeepers up into like a balloon. I don't think it's R. I'm not on the controller, so space. I played Enter the Tear. So once you beat the game, you can now change it so you get better, so you can make it harder. Obviously, I beat it, and then I kind of put this to the side because I have other games to play. But the harder it is, the more items you get, the more stuff you can get. So I can just hold space to start the run. Nothing's changed, nothing's different. So there's going to be a series of worlds, and you go through a series of levels to get to the mid-boss, then to the final boss. And while you're going, there's all different kinds of little destructible things in the environment, which is why I've always liked these roguelites. But Like, I can always imagine this with 4 people. So you have your normal attack, you have a charged attack, and then you have your abilities. So right there, that's the ability I start with because I'm using the staff. And because I have it fully upgraded, instead of doing just a normal, like normal orbs, it'll shoot it'll shoot out empowered orbs. And see, I didn't get hit, so I got a perfect, and the perfect makes this better. It gives me better chance. So now I can take Gravity Well, Judgment, Refresh, which I could put that on there, or that, put that on there, but I'm going to take Gravity Well. So on the controller, it's 2 different bars, but on the mouse, it's your right click and your middle mouse. Or on the controller, it's 2 different triggers. So always keep an eye out, because this is one of the games where they'll hide things in the background. So if you're not paying attention, you could miss something. It'd be like, oh, click, and then something pops out. You'd be like, oh, that's cool. Like, I think it was the Ember cat was hiding, and you had to find its hiding spots. And as soon as you found all of its hiding spots, so it heals you for 10. I'm at 80. Good. Yeah, but once you found all of its hiding spots, you basically unlock the cat to be in your area. Your first skill hit, your third attack releases a chain lightning. Whenever you use a skill, you conjure a chain lightning, defeating an enemy, blah, blah, blah. I like that. So I'm gonna take it. I'm not 100% sure what these doors do. I know it's got to do something. I don't know if it's with the DLC or it's something I haven't discovered, like a teleport. But I know every area has something like this. And there's still things I don't know because I haven't really dug too deep. But either I can go to a room that'll give me for reward that, or that. I'm going to take power, the agility or power. But every time you perfect a room, you have a chance at getting better and better rewards. Or let's say I just perfected this room, I would have a chance at getting bonus rewards on top of, instead of this being +1 damage, it's now +2 damage because I got a perfect room. And then the higher you... I just lost my perfect. These little things pop up, which make this enemy invincible. Well, not really invincible as much as harder to kill until you destroy it. So they're still buffed after you kill them, but now they actually take full damage. So because I took a hit, I lost my perfect bonus. This guy's a boss, as you can see. Yeah, see, that's a really fun one. Not my favorite, but it's a really fun one. And then the more rooms you perfect, the better rewards you get, and the better chances at getting better rooms, like more rare rooms. Will pop up as like your next choice. I'm not paying any attention because I'm too busy talking. So like extra embers or gold. I'd say I probably want the embers more than I want the gold, as the gold really is only good for purchasing in the shop, whereas the embers are used for unlocking stuff outside of the rifts that you go into. See, perfect room, I got extra embers souls for that. You can destroy these things, sometimes they'll drop gold too when you kill them. That's another nice thing, most of your charge attacks just you charge, but with the staff as you're doing the charge attack. It'll actually attack. It's reduced damage, but it still does damage while you're charging the attack. All I know is most of these won't do a lot of damage. And then it tells you mini boss incoming. Now mini bosses are nice because if you these are another ones where you're gonna get different mini boss. You're not always gonna get the same mini boss. There's like 2 or 3 different kinds, and it'll tell you which one. So if you're like I took that. They all basically have like the same move sets, except for minus like 1 or 2 things will be slightly different. Like, yeah, 1 or 2 things will be slightly different. But they'll all pretty much do the same kind of things to look out for. If I were to perfect this, like I wasn't to take that hit from that tornado, I'd get bonus stats. I'd get bonus soul embers. I'd get like one of these would have been, instead of them being 3 smalls, I would have gotten 2 large, or 1 large and 2 smalls. So now I've got that doesn't look like I'm blocking anything, so you guys can see my skills down here, my hit points, how much money I have. So one of the things you can get is revives. Since I'm playing alone, the revives are pretty key, so I have 4 revives that'll bring me to 25% health. But then I can look at this, bonus damage to stunned enemies. Whenever you perfect skill, you heal. Upon death, you revive with full hit points, and this relic is destroyed. That's actually really good, I can afford that. I'm not going to get it. Your skills deal bonus damage and poison. I'm taking that. And just for the hell of it, I'll take that. So there's different things. There's also one that deals money, where it's like if you have above a certain amount of money, you do more damage, or your skills do more damage. Oh. And then there's these keepers that'll show up randomly that will drop a bunch of gold if you can defeat them in time before they run away. So pretty much like any roguelite. I don't know if I'm gonna get this guy because they have a ton of health. Yeah. See, I always get these guys just after. So these ones have a little skull on them, meaning there's a boss that's gonna be dealt with this one as well. So these are the ones you really want to watch and be like, okay, I really need to get the perfect on it, because you can get major bonuses from these ones. So let's see. Normally these are only worth 5. Yeah, this one's worth 10. So a skill selector. So let's see what we get through this. I don't know if perfecting these rooms in particular does anything. I don't know if it's just a better chance at getting a skill. Like Nice Charge and Phantom Spear. I don't need any of these. I kind of like both of these, but hurls a ghostly spear to damage enemies. Defeating an enemy with a skill gives you 1, you know. I think I'm going to do this on this. Just because there's these pots that give... Most pots will give you like 1 or 2 coins, but then there's pots that'll give you a ton of coins. Usually those red ones. And then you can always find these random packs. They'll have loot, they'll have stats, they'll sometimes have relics. So if I needed to heal, I can do it here, or I'll take this Gem of Vigor. Ooh, I almost took damage. I quick clicked that one. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get to the first boss and then beat it and then end my review there. Just because I want to show the game without showing too much of the game. in case you're like looking at this because it's on sale, or you're looking for something to play at a party with your friends or something. You can get a couple friends together to play if you guys like doing like group roguelike games like this. I can't imagine playing this game with 4 people, how many enemies there'd be on screen, how much bigger the areas would be. Defeating an enemy conjures a lightning bolt, your 3rd attack. So you can get the same object again, but what it does is it makes, whenever you conjure lightning, you conjure a bonus lightning bolt. Oh yeah. You can then upgrade them, and then there's like, you can either find it again. So here's the first boss. So you can see there's already a chain of lightning going. If you get all these relics and put them all together, you can do these massive lightning chains. You can see all this food that drops because there's supposed to be 4 people. So let's go into the first boss. So you can already see, and then like you can find an anvil through the merchant that'll get you. You'll find like an anvil, and that anvil will allow you to upgrade it without you having to purposely find said items. It's down, you can stun them. When they're stunned, they take a ton more damage. And they're dead. So a lot of times you can get perfects like that. Like I just perfected this boss, which then would give me more gold, more money. And because I've gotten to a certain point where I can upgrade my abilities, it'll also drop more ash. You need the ash to upgrade your abilities. Obviously everything kind of makes sense with the whole your fire, and when you die you become a small ember again. So this is a time capsule. You have to beat the time to get it, and it'll give you usually more ember souls, more gold, and a relic or a random item stat. Obviously my time was 9 minutes and 2 seconds. That's because I was trying to explain. I'm doing a review, so it's kind of hard to try to play and go at the same time. Obviously my best was 5 minutes and 55 seconds. So yeah, you can just rush through, or you can take your time and explore. I'm at the point where I don't really need to. So let's go into the next one, and this is probably where I'm going to end this one. I actually really like this game. This game is a whole lot of fun. I wish I had people I could play this with. And each time you go to like a new world, you get like this little cinematic. And certain bosses you can also get will have little cinematics. But new enemies, new hazards. Like I crushed that, and a guy came out. Boom. You get a stat selector, so now I can choose what do I want. The staff is based on wisdom, so I'm going to take wisdom. So the staff and your skills are all based on wisdom, so I'll take wisdom for that. You can see there's a frozen ice knight in there. Destroying this after the battle's over, you just destroy it, but normally if I still had enemies, that would cause the knight to come out. I love that gravity well, especially with this. Causes all the enemies to get stunned and pulled into one spot. Especially if you can charge it up. Boom. And then with all the lightning, the chain lightning relics, yeah, this gets really fun really quick at how much damage you can output. So this increases your crit, this increases your health. I want to do that. What I always forget is that enemies just continuously spawn until you run out of enemies, or how many enemies you need to kill. That. These guys are traps, So if I get too close, the battle's over, so they're not going to, but normally if you get too close, they start to do like an AoE attack. So, different things, different times, different enemies, different things you gotta learn. A lot of this, some of this stuff doesn't show up, like these things, don't start showing up until you start getting into the further reaches of the game. So you're not immediately at level 1 gonna have to deal with these massive pylons popping up and making an enemy essentially invincible, especially at a lower level. Like that guy would be impossible to kill. I just lost my perfect because I'm not paying attention. And these mage enemies are a pain in the tuchus. I hate them so much because unless you're like focused and paying attention, they will hit you every time and just ruin. Because their attack is like perfect dodge radius. You're dead center, it follows you, and it's like perfect in your, will keep you the entire size of your dodge radius. So if you're not careful, even though you dodged out of the way, you're still gonna take the hit and lose your perfect like that. And sometimes, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like there's some input lag issues because I'll press spacebar or the dodge, and it's like B on the pad. Skill selector or that. Let's go skill selector. And it still won't do anything. Oh, I just got an achievement. Refresh a skill 50 times on a run with staff. Nice. But yeah, and each weapon has like... I just lost my perfect in. Skill selector. So here again, I'm not getting any of these because I probably don't have the gravity well... I probably don't have gravity well equipped, like boosted. But I think I'm gonna take Ballista over Gravity Well, just because I like the Ballista better. Gravity Well's nice because it pulls everybody in, and like I'd normally do. I'm also a person who does summoning over stat selector gold. Let's do gold or stat selector. I'm also a person that favors summoning abilities, just because I'm a Beastmaster, I'm a Tamer, I prefer that kind of stuff in my games. If I had a choice, I'd be a Necromancer, I'd be a Beast Tamer, I'd be something that has pets, essentially. And your skin also affects things you summon. So like you can see my ballistas are like blackish purple. Now, if you were something else, it would be, let's go power. Take some loot. That apple. Mini boss. Like I said, these mini bosses are not always the same. They look the same. They'll have certain of the same abilities, but they'll change up which ones they are. So you won't every time you won't be fighting the same mini boss. It'll be like a different flavor, and I think there's like 2 or 3 of them that you'll choose. And I'm talking, so I didn't took that hit from that snowball and a monster. That's why I like the ballistas, is I can like kite enemies around them. They also act as a distraction, so enemies will attack the ballistas over you. I don't want this review to go on too much longer, so I think I'm going to end it here, since I know I'm going to be at a shop where you can then purchase stats with gold. This one's actually really cool. It does extra damage when you roll. Or every time you do so, when dealing damage, you can roll and you can get a different effect. And this one is like another thing I like about this game is random events will happen, and if you do the random event or you know what to do, you'll get items and stuff. Like this one grants you a shoot shield while using abilities. Unfortunately, I don't have enough for both items, but I'm pretty much done anyways, so I'm just gonna take this just because it gives me a shield. You can pay to reroll. You know what? Yeah, let's just take it. I didn't even read it. Let's take it. So I can save in menu, save and quit. So let's save in menu. So basically, now next time I play, I can pick up right there and continue on just to do a fun run. But that's pretty much Ember Knights in a nutshell. Fun little game. It looks like it is being updated pretty consistently. So eventually when the DLC goes on, I believe there's 2 more weapons with the DLC. As you can see here, there's like a Mega Man blaster and then these power gauntlets. When the DLC does go on sale, I've got it wishlisted. So when the DLC does go on sale, I'll probably pick it up, and the next time Ember Knights comes around as a review, because what I'm gonna basically what I'll eventually do is after a game has had long enough to update and get more content, because some of these games are live service, some of them are constantly patching and updating. I'll eventually, like a year or so after, play through the game again. You see all the new experience, all the new content, and then do an updated review. See if anything's changed, see if I don't like anything. Basically tell you, like, hey, this game's gotten better. I highly recommend if you haven't picked it up, pick it up. Or if it's like, nah, if you've already played it, yeah, then don't worry about it. But until next time, you be you, you stay you, and most importantly, adventure on.